Hey, how's it going? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome to Scramble for the East. This is a mod for Shogun 2, which is basically set in the Victorian era as all these superpowers come to Japan and the kind of around regions to go and assert their dominance. You can play as Prussia, England, Russia, the Chinese Empire, aka Ming. You can obviously play as a few Japanese nations as well as a few more. So it's a really cool mod, and it's great to see Shogun 2 in its full glory once again, because I've been playing a bunch of Shogun 2 recently, and I have to say it is hands down the best Total War game out there. Don't you dare at me. Really, like, I've been going back to it and just enjoying it so much. So I definitely recommend it. If you haven't played Shogun 2 in a while, dust off the old copy on Steam and get your asses on the game, because yeah, it is a real gem in the Total War community. So yes, we are playing the Scramble for the East, and this was a pretty cool replay sent in to me. We have the forces of the Prussians going up against Great Britain. So yeah, the United Kingdom will be pushing forward a lot of their forces. The Prussians will be using their heavily drilled infantry to break their ranks. So yeah, it's going to be definitely a great battle. Taking a look at a few of the units, we have some of these Jaeger light infantrymen pushing forward. Behind them we do have some more Brunswick infantry as well in their black uniforms, looking very nice. As we continue down the line, more Brunswick infantry. We do have General's bodyguard back here, General's staff, looking very clean. We then have some Hanover Guard as well, some tier 1 Hanover Guard quickly rushing into formation. We have another unit of Hanover Guard, and I really like the flags that these guys have. We then have some cannons set up, and we'll go on slow-mo as the cannons are about to unleash. Some 10-pounder field howitzers. Going to be pretty goddamn deadly indeed, and that's probably going to make up most of the Prussian force. I think they have some cavalry, but unfortunately we can't fully see the cavalry because we are, you know, playing as the British in this replay. Then for the British army, we do have some 6-pounders on the front line. I imagine they're going to be hammering away. Behind that, we have some Royal Marines moving up in marching column, looking very nice. I imagine that's going to be the majority of the front line for the British, but we also have some King's Own charging their way forward. We have some of the Suthlander Highlanders. Obviously a very renowned units for Highlanders. We also have some Colonial Southland Highlanders, as well as some Black Watch, obviously a very well known unit from Scotland. We also have some more Scots Fusiliers, so it seems like a lot of Scottish infantry in this British army right here. We have some more soldiers right there. Oh yeah, these I think are soldiers from Sepoy. Are they from India maybe? So lots of troops from the colonies, and then finally we just have some more line foot infantry and another unit of Colonial foot dudes right here. So let's just kick this battle off again and get this bad boy started. It looks like the cannons are soon to be loaded up and shot back for the British. I believe this mod does also have a currently like in progress campaign, so if you guys want to check that out, I'll leave a link to the mod down below. You do have to download it from, I think, TWC, because Shogun 2 doesn't have a bigger size file to download like the rest of the other mods do. I think from Rome 2 onwards, you can upload like gigabytes worth of files, but Shogun 2 only allows you to upload 100 megabytes to the workshop. So because of that, these mods are, you know, it's either download this mod externally or go ahead and download about 20 parts just to download one mod. So it's kind of crazy, but you know, it's pretty simple. I'll leave an installation guide down below as well. I highly recommend you check out this mod because it, you know, it's pretty awesome. As you can see, the artillery just coming in and demolishing a lot of these poor horses. They've also killed a cannon or two right here, which is very nice for the Prussians. They're massive cannons doing a ton of damage. I mean, these 10-pounders are going to really show just because of the sheer size of them. They're going to do an absolute ton of damage to the oncoming British, and it's really up to the British to... I doubt the British are even in range with their 6-pounders. It seems like their 6-pounders are trying to focus down a lot of the lighter Jaeger skirmisher infantry, which is definitely not a bad idea. Some of the cannon shots as well, ripping through the Prussian battle line, which is looking very long now. As we can see, he's got a nice like 6 or 7 regiment deep line right here, along with 6 regiments, or 5 regiments of light infantry. The British are looking to quickly reform, though. They need to be careful not to shoot their own men right there with their cannons. Luckily, I guess the cannons are shaped a little bit upwards, going over the head of the Suthlander Highlanders. as they march forward, looking very, very nicely. I dig that so much. And again, the graphics just look so great. They really do. For like a game that's, what, 8 years old? I was really impressed with just how great Shogun 2 does look and plays. The only like downside to Shogun 2 I kind of find myself having is that the battles are really fast, at least in the Sengoku period. However, you know, now that like with like shooting mods, and I guess Fall of a Samurai lasts a little bit longer as well, battles do go on a decent amount of time. You know, I'm much more one for a very strategic battle. But I still don't find myself enjoying the fast-paced battles of Shogun 2. I guess it's just maybe it feels a little bit more grounded or something. I don't know. As the cannons just shift past the head. Wow. We're getting a volley. Where do we get the first volley off? Oh, the Prussian Jaegers are unloading from the forest. This is a really nice move by the Prussian player to go ahead and take up refuge in this forest, because you can see the smoke coming out, but the British don't have any idea that there are skirmishers right here. You can also see what a big part the fatigue plays in this battle. These soldiers who have like basically been running their way forward are already pretty tired. So yeah, fatigue plays a massive role in this battle. The cannons are continuing to shell this. It's just kind of a massive back and forth right now as we take a look at the overall battlefield. The Prussians are continuing to move up, and it seems like the Jaegers have now been spotted. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are going to fall back after firing their first couple volleys, because if line gets in range of this, they're going to be taken out very quickly. If we take a look at the mini-map as well, we can see that the British are trying to kind of envelop around this forest and clear this out. I think we're seeing some cannon coming off as well. Yeah, some direct hits from the cannon there as well, trying to just hit these guys out of the forest when they can. Because, yeah, having skirmishes in place in this forest is going to be very, very frustrating when you're trying to advance men through there. The British are basically doing the exact same thing, though, on this right-hand side. They've got 3 units of line along with a unit of riflemen. Riflemen looking very nice in their green coats. I assume this infantry is just waiting to catch its breath before maybe moving to the edge and engaging. But again, there's a nice placement of Jaegers here by the Prussians. The Jaegers are obviously going to have much longer range. Yeah, you can see the line range right there is... Gonna have to force this line forward. Oh, that's a direct hit there on the center of these colonial foot infantrymen. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, look at that. They're reforming the line, but yeah, these soldiers are just like scrambling on the ground after just being directly hit. Oh, there we go. The British line is now in range with some Royal Marines, so some pretty elite units forming up to go ahead and fire onto these skirmishers. The Jaegers are probably going to try and pull out very, very quickly. Let's see if we can get this full-on shot right here. Present! We can see everyone else shooting. Why is it the one unit I'm looking at? There we go. Present and fire. Oh, they're reloading as well. Still looks very awesome nonetheless. It's unfortunate that these guys had to quickly reload though. They all have their bayonets fixed as well. Oh, wow. A cannon hit just... I think that was like a friendly cannon right there. There we have it. The volley going out. Hitting the infantry hard. And they're going to be doing a very good job of taking out these Jaegers. The Jaegers have the range, of course. But now that the concentrated musket fire is coming in, it's going to whittle them down. And they're going to become a lot less effective the more they stay in this combat. We also have the British coming around the flank as well. There's a couple pretty good units of these Highlanders. And they're going to be engaging. I wonder what this symbol it means right next to them. Oh, they're on rapid fire, I assume, so that they shoot a little bit quicker. 3 rounds a minute, boys, and the fighting is in full combat. We have a pretty big Prussian cavalry charge here. The Bavarian Saber Cavalry are going to come flying in, and if the British, the Coldstream Guard, need to form square quickly. No, they do not manage to get that, and the Coldstream Guard are just going to rip through their ranks. No mercy whatsoever, and that's going to be a huge morale hit for the rest of the Coldstream Guard as well. You can see what I'm talking about with fast-paced combat when we fully get into it. And another unit of cavalry coming around, again right into the back of the Coldstream Guard. This is going to be a brutal charge, or do they form it in time? Seems like they're taking a volley first before charging in. And this right flank is going to crumble for the British right now. They need to get some sort of support over here. I think their cavalry isn't even formed up right now. They're throwing over some Fusiliers, but even the Fusiliers are going to get run down. And finally, a square has been formed here to protect the flank. It's a little bit too late, but Yeah, that was a very, very strong Prussian cavalry charge, and the British Duke of Cambridge Lancers are moving in now. Maybe be able to catch a few of these Prussian saber horses as they try and flee. Yeah, they do that, but still a very, very nice move there by the Prussian player to catch the British a little bit off guard. It seems like the constant bombardment of artillery by them 6-pounder artillery pieces have finally broken up the defense over here in the woodland, and they're finally pushing out the Prussian skirmishers, which will basically give them a good little maneuverability to move up their line without being held up by them skirmishers. The cavalry kind of, I think, counter-charged against the Prussians and are now simply falling back. The beginning of the battle line is just still retaliating. I mean, these colonial footmen should be pretty well off. You know, they're fairly well protected by being in this forest area. It gives them a lot of support, which they don't really have to, you know. They take a lot less casualties being in the forest. They obviously kill a lot less, but, you know, still that protection is very nice. The Jaegers are really, you know, causing an issue for the British because they just have the extra range, a better kind of accuracy on the unit. It really is effective. This Lancer Cavalry needs to be careful, but it seems like they're going to go in against the Bavarians. They do take a volley from the Dragoons. Obviously, the Lancer Cavalry is going to be very effective on the charge, but once they get tied down by all of these units, I think they're going to end up losing this fight. And this is a very ballsy move here by the British player, knowing that the Prussians had 2 units of cavalry over here. We do have some Fusiliers, and I mean, if this cavalry unit goes down for the British, then it's just going to open up their entire flank to be hammered, because these Fusiliers, even though they are on the flank, obviously they're going to be mincemeat to the cavalry. Fusiliers looking very nice as well. Reloading their muskets. Yeah, that cavalry has gone down, and it didn't manage to kill either of these units, so, I mean, they are heavily depleted, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Prussian cavalry quickly coming in on this flank. We're even getting a general staff unit coming over here as well, I guess to pop a rally to support the men. I think the main strength of the British line is going to be right here. If they can break this line, they'll do a very, very good job. We even have some cavalry back here as well. We have another unit of cavalry, some lifeguard cavalry, so some pretty elite horsemen. Just sitting back, waiting for their opportunity to move in. Yeah, and there we go. That's exactly what we said. The Dragoons going on the flank, not necessarily charging in, but just using these muskets to help out and, you know, harass down, especially as they force them into square as well. So this is a really nice move because, you know, the Dragoons are a cavalry force, but they're using them as if just like a flanking rifle force, which is very effective. So it pushes the British into square, who they have to tighten up. But it also makes them pretty vulnerable to any Dragoon fire as well. I mean, I'm sure once they finally get a volley back as well, they'll be able to, you know, return fire against the... There you go. Return fire against the Dragoons, but even still, only a couple of them go down. And at the moment, these horsemen right here, the Sabre cavalry, are fighting the Fusiliers. And I think the Fusiliers will do okay because just they've got a lot of numbers. This Sabre cavalry was severely depleted by the time it charged in. I think it was at 1/3 strength, maybe even a little less. So even though the charge will be effective, with the support of the square right there, I'm sure they do fine. But the Prussians are taking complete advantage of this position, unloading with their Brunswick infantry right onto this square. And you can see the Coldstream, or actually a unit of Grenadiers right there, are being just cut down to pieces. The British, though, are using this flank pretty nicely, and they're continuing to wrap around. But the Prussians are simply just retreating with their light infantry in the woods. You can see the smoke and the muzzle flashes right there. They are hidden. It's a really effective unit. Now, what would be a really good strategy, I think, for the British player is just to run some cavalry through your lines and like harass this light infantry, because it seems like the Prussian player is very much using his light infantry in sections of his battle line. So to maybe have a unit of cavalry like hiding in these woods and then pouncing on these skirmishers, I think would be really, really effective. Because, you know, there's not really any infantry to form a square or much to even really support this light infantry line. So that could be a really good strategy. As more Prussian cavalry comes out of the woods, yeah, it seems like the Prussians went pretty heavy on the horse, whereas the British didn't. Which means they should really succeed at taking them out. And the cannon as well, these huge 10-pounder howitzers as well, are just bombarding the ever-living crap out of the British as they try and push up. I mean, as you can see, the British are definitely the ones advancing in this battle. You know, the battle line started off like around here, and now it's all gone all the way forward. I just don't know if it is going to be enough in this one. You can see quite a few of the cannon shots as well, just ramming it down here. I'm not sure what they're trying to really focus down. I think they're maybe just hitting the Prussian center, and it's going forward. Oh, a big cavalry charge right here. The British actually had another unit. How can I not see this other unit of British cavalry? Or maybe it's just shifted over from the left flank. I don't know. Maybe I'm just blind. Maybe it was on the mini-map all along. But we are going to have a unit of this British Life Guard cavalry unit. And they're going to be chasing down some of the Brunswick cavalry infantry that moved up. And now, oh, this is perfect. Just keep on going, British. No, why are you stopping? The light infantry was right here. They could have ripped through their battle line. I guess they wanted to protect their own light infantry, which is not a bad idea. But now they're just going to be in perfect firing range of the Hanover Guard, which is going to be taking no mercy as well. Do these guys have bolt-action rifles? Damn. I think they do. Pretty impressive stuff. I guess it is kind of like, you know, Victoria-esque time. So, like, what, late 1800s? I think is when the mod is set. And the cool thing is as well with this mod is there's like a whole range of different, you know, factions you can play as. You know, you can play as Russia, Prussia, Great Britain. I think France is in here. Like basically a lot of the colonial powers. And Prussia, I didn't realize. I guess Prussia's just been added because they're cool. I don't really think Prussia was very prominent in the... Oh, no, they were, though. They had a few in the Philippines, right? They had a few colonies in the Philippines. If I'm not mistaken, yeah. I'm pretty sure they did. Let me know in the comments. It's been forever since I've done colonial history. But yeah, they did have... I'm pretty sure... I mean, maybe they were German. No, they weren't German. Were they Germany at this point? I don't know. My history, I'm making myself look like an idiot now. But they did have, I'm like 95% sure they had land in the Philippines, Prussia, and that's obviously why they're here. Or maybe it's, yeah, no, it was the Philippines, I think. No, not the Philippines. Maybe it was like, I don't know anyway. I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments. I'm interested to read them. They definitely did have colonies, though, in the east. I remember that's the few that they did have because the British and everyone else was like, no, you cannot have this land. Germany, oh, yeah, it was soon to be Germany. Like, I remember the old Madagascar incident when the Germans send a warship to Madagascar. But that's like early 19th century, before the First World War. So I think this mod is set a little bit before that, but you know what I mean. Place in the sun and all that. So these Gurkha riflemen are doing a very nice job at harassing the Prussian line. Prussian line, though, is set up very effectively to harass. And I said these battles run out pretty quickly, but I guess you can see as... That's a beautiful volley right there. I guess as, you know, this is more of like a musket-based combat. The battles in this are much, much slower paced than, say, the kind of heavy melee fighting, which is great to see. You know, I am much more one for heavy battle lines, very slow-paced combat. And you can see these Highlanders, they've got their hats and kilts very, very bloodied in this battle as the fighting does continue. Again, it seems like the British, though, are very steadily advancing. You've got some dragoons in the forest as well, harassing the front lines. And I think that just the strength of the British line is really prevailing in this one. It seems like the Prussian player spent a bit more on his skirmishers, his cavalry, and his 10-pounder artillery pieces. And by the way, that kind of big sound right there, that's just someone popping an ability. I guess Shogun 2 just still has that sound. The British Fusiliers right here, the Scots Fusiliers, are doing a very nice job at harassing these flanks. I really like the way that both players are using their skirmishers really, really interestingly. You know, the Prussian player is kind of mixing them in with his battle line, and the British player is using them on his flanks. However, we are going to be getting a nice little unit of Guard Dragoons coming in. There's a big cavalry force set up here. I think I saw another unit. So this unit of Life Guards is going to even know... Oh, that's a great charge here onto the rifles. We're going to have the British Life Guards coming in to try and help out, save these guys from drowning. But then quickly the Prussian cavalry is going to move in some of their own unit of cavalry as well to kind of basically sandwich the British horse, which is not a bad idea. We do have a quick deployment here by the Fusiliers to turn around and basically try and give the British some supporting fire. However, they are going to be getting volleyed in from the forest still, so there's going to be an exposed flank as the Life Guard try and run down the unit of dragoons there. I imagine the Dragoons are going to be faster, and the British cavalry is just going to have to quickly turn around and engage their counterparts in this fierce cavalry engagement. Battle line seems to have gone ahead and filtered up now. If we take a look at the map once more, they've kind of gone very straight as this left flank has really adjusted. It seems like the British are definitely lacking numbers on this left-hand side with some of their colonial infantry. They need that right flank to be very, very effective. And this centre to really make the progression, because I think the centre is where the British strength is. I just need some cavalry to like rip through this unit of skirmishers. I think that'd be perfect. And there we have it, the British cavalry just being enveloped there by the superior numbers and routed. That's going to be pretty scary, because now the cavalry, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go send it after this artillery piece. But again, it's not like the Prussian player knows that there's no extra cavalry scattered around in these forests. You know, we've only seen a couple units of horse, and for all the Prussian player knows, there could be plenty more horse hiding away. Does seem like the British though are wanting to commit another unit of infantry over here, so they're sending another unit of sepoy infantry to supplement that right flank, to reinforce it, as these Fusiliers continue to volley off their rifles. Yeah, so it looks like everyone is using basically cartridge-loaded rifles at this point. No, I mean, these British units are still using muskets. Rather than I mean, they're still obviously put the cartridge down, but you mean like as in like a bolt-loaded cartridge, like the Brunswick infantry are using. So I guess these guys just maybe have a later model musket, and it'll probably allow them to shoot pretty efficiently, because it will reduce a lot of the downtime of that musket itself. Rapid fire being shot off across the entire board, and we do have some of the Prussian cavalry using its advantage and breaking through the British horse. And yeah, here we go. We do actually have a nice square formation. I think these guys formed square just in time, a unit of Highlanders, and they'll be able to fight off the cavalry. But even still, there's a lot of horsemen inside this formation, and they're using their sabers very, very effectively. It seems like the Prussians are... Oh, the flag is down! No! You see that flag has just been cut down. And yeah, the British flank is starting to crumble. The Prussian line can start being really, really aggressive. The cavalry superiority is just very effective. And, you know, even though these guys are forming square and that's protecting them, it's still making them extremely vulnerable to these rifle fire that the Prussians are putting out, you know. It's just a much more dense formation, so you can see how many more casualties they take. But the thing is, that's the problem. When you run out of cavalry and the opponent still has a lot of horse, it's going to be very, very deadly, because you just don't have any way. Like, even if you have the superior rifle fire. And I think what would have been so huge in this battle, is it looks like the Prussians are really pushing home their advantage right now, is if they could have just got a unit of cavalry, or maybe two, just a big assault across this field and hit away at the Jaegers, who are seemingly undefended. I mean, again, the Prussians could have something hidden in this wood, but I think it would have been so great just to break these skirmishers and then push forward. Again, more cavalry coming off. You've got the Guard Dragoons charging in against the British line. Some colonial Highlanders. They're very, very far from home. This is definitely not Kansas anymore. We do have some more, some more infantry here. The Black Watch, famous regiment. Going to be sending them back. And the artillery is soon to be taken out as well. It seems like, the artillery was actually killed by the 10 pound. No, they weren't actually. Oh, these guys have just literally left their artillery pieces. Oh, wow. These Saber cavalry. Oh, you poor, poor boys. They're charging in for honor and glory. That was a very disappointing charge. I don't know really what happened there, but I mean, even still, the field artillery crew is just done for. Maybe they ran out of ammunition, because ammunition is a thing in the artillery, unlike Napoleon, where you just basically get unlimited ammunition. Nice back and forth. More of these cavalry coming in. Yeah, I think we're just going to quickly come around and finish off this British line. We will obviously stick around though, but it's very, like, the thing I love about line battles like this is, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, they just line up and shoot at each other. But just look how much these battle lines have changed throughout this entire battlefield, you know. The just kind of sheer, you can really tell right here as well about it, you know. You just see these big kind of shifts in flanking maneuvers and the battle lines like caving in on themselves, breaking in certain places, which allows other factions to kind of come around the flank. And I think taking a look at this mini-map is always a great idea because you really get the greater picture of the battlefield. And now the Prussians are simply moving around. I imagine both sides, though, will be very close to running out of ammunition soon. Oh, what a great volley that was. And we're going to get another one right here as well. I mean, look at that. It looks amazing. Lots of flags. I think they're maybe charging in now. Yeah, here we go. A pretty aggressive move here. I mean, it's great to take advantage of the infantry units when they are in square. And I think they're going to quickly get out of square and try and reform to the best of their ability. But the Prussian cavalry is just circling, waiting for any opportunity. And here we go. As soon as they see it, they are charging in. It's going to force the King's Own and also the Black Watch into square. But maybe they're not going to be able to get it in time. No, the Prussian cavalry is just going to find them lacking and charge in. I mean, it's a... like, you're doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. Because if you form square, the Prussian lineman takes you out. If you don't, the cavalry comes in. And I mean, they're still taking a lot of casualties as they do try and retreat. And the British put up a great fight, but it seems like the Prussians are going to win this a day. With only a few colonial foot still left remaining. The Royal Marines diving in. And now the cavalry has been slowed down. They are going to be taking casualties, but it's just going to be too little too late, I think. Prussian cavalry is now trying to pull out of there and just kind of make way for the oncoming firing of the Prussian foot. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty deadly foe with the smoke just... Oh, the Prussian stuff looks so great. Come on, give us another volley, boys. Literally the YouTuber curse right here. Whenever you zoom in on something, it never shows you anything cool. Come on, boys. Give me a volley. You know you want to. Seems like they're probably out of range. Everyone kind of, yeah, they're just re-maneuvering. Okay, okay. That's fair enough, fair enough. We'll go and zoom in and watch some British line then. The colonial foot. Try and get a nice little shot right there. Oh, I love doing this because Shogun 2 has such a good, like... Look at that. You can see the smoke and the kind of the flares. Look at that, the flares of the rifles in the distance there. Yeah, Shogun 2 has some of the best looking stuff. And this game is so old as well. As you can tell, I'm very happy to be coming back to Shogun 2. And yeah, you guys should definitely continue to check out the channel, because we're going to be doing much more. Oh, the artillery, the 10-pounders are still shooting away. The artillery is fierce right there. Yeah, and I think that's going to be all she right. The Prussians are simply clearing up this battle, but a very, very cool battle. Yeah, look, we're completely surrounded, and there we go. GG indeed. So I want to give a massive shout out to Izzy, the person who sent in the mod itself. He is the mod creator, and he went ahead and sent me this replay. He's been telling me to play this mod for so long, and I'm glad I finally got around to doing it. I'll leave a mod link down below in the description so you guys can check it out. It is really simple to download. Obviously, it's not on the workshop, but it is on the workshop, and you have to download the workshop piece, but you also have to just download some stuff externally because of the way the Shogun 2 workshop is set up. So I highly recommend you go and check out the mod. It's very, very fun. And if you guys want to play any battles, be sure to join the Discord. Hopefully we'll get a few going and maybe have a few more people playing this so I can get some 2v2s, some 3v3s, and maybe even a few siege battles as well would be pretty fun. We'll see what that's like. And maybe some custom maps, because there's a lot of really, really cool... like World War I-esque trench warfare maps as well. So I think this map would be really, really cool. And some of them like forts, like American Civil War forts and stuff. So just let me know what you guys want to see. And if you enjoy this, do let me know in the comments down below. Drop a like, drop a comment. Let's quickly take a look at the unit kills though. I'm interested. Who killed the most? So this unit, oh wow, this unit of Hanover Guard got 320 kills and only lost 13 men. That is goddamn impressive. The Dragoons getting 262 kills. And then for the British as well. Yeah, the British rifles just couldn't bring themselves to bear very effectively. Unfortunately, the Prussians just really outshot them. With their biggest kill being this howitzer. Oh, they actually, fuck me, they had a 12-pounder howitzer. That is absolutely crazy. 12-pounders are nothing to mess with, that is for sure. So a massive GG to both these players. Thank you for sending me in the replay, and I'll see you guys in the next one.